Well, I think there's sort of different levels. I mean, at the level of the regulators, where we're going to focus a bunch of our early attention, there needs to be a very sophisticated sort of education. At the level of the politicians, there needs to be a much different, you know, it's motherhood and apple pie, and it works, you know, as follows, but not, you know, not trying to get into the details. And
there's a lot of discussion on microgrids, and it's all by people who don't own nor operate them. We have people putting on webinars who have just found out what a microgrid is. We as microgrid users have to help define the process, define the regulations, and not let others do it for us, like has happened so many times before.
There is a huge interest in microgrids, well-intentioned, at the federal and at the state levels. We've seen that. And what we're trying to do is take the intellectual property of companies like ours, and also the idea at large, to drive that conversation, because you get, with the IDEA, you have the experts, as Robert said, in the field. So they're the ones that we should be at the table helping these well-intentioned entities promote microgrids. Microgrids are important for a couple of reasons right now. One is obviously the Sandy experience, the solar vortex experience. I mean, this is the perfect time to talk about microgrids, right?
In our community, we understand the technical capabilities of microgrids, and that everyone in the ideal world, in the microgrid world, understands that those are getting more sophisticated, the costs are coming down, that the technological solutions are there, and that the performance is really reaching, you know, levels that have been unprecedented. Regulators and others need to begin to understand just how dynamic it is. We're not just talking about running backup generators. We're not just talking about curtailing industrial processes, turning down a few thermostats, and so on. We're talking about the type of flexible and responsive operations, thermal electrical storage, arbitrages, different types of generation, different types of building controls, all knitted together to create an entity of which the power system has not seen before. It's both generation, its load, and its ability to respond to grid conditions is something that a lot of people are taken aback by. So even regulators who understand that, yes, you can make a microgrid, you can create a microgrid that will island itself, that will power itself. They might understand that, but to understand that that same microgrid can support the surrounding grid with wholesale services, can support the community in resiliency and reliability values that currently and in the past have not really been detailed. That's really the frontier that we're looking at here, is getting people to understand that it's not just the ability to island, although that's a very important component, but it's a whole host of services that help the grid balance more with, you know, more cost effectiveness and a higher level of precision than we've seen before.